decades, the federal government and supporters of marijuana prohibition have tried to convince us that marijuana is so dangerous that it should be illegal the rest of the time, even going as far as spending countless of dollars on ads that warn us of the dangers of marijuana. This is simply not the case. Just as the use of alcohol is not wrong if used responsibly, the same applies for marijuana. Now, I'm not here to try and say that marijuana doesn't have any negative side effects, but then again, what product does? The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports that more than 30,000 annual deaths are related to the health effects of alcohol. The CDC does not even have a category for deaths caused by the health effects of marijuana. A study published in Scientific Reports in January 2015 found that the mortality risk associated with marijuana was approximately 114 times less than that of alcohol. Alcohol use increases risk of injury to the consumer, while marijuana does not. According to the British Advisory Council on the Misuse of Drugs, cannabis differs from alcohol in one major aspect. It does not increase risk-taking behavior. As we all know, alcohol does. Some studies has even shown that marijuana decreases risk-taking behavior. And a company is fine with its employees drinking alcohol but not smoking marijuana. It just simply does not make sense. Just as you can have a couple of drinks after work and not have a hangover the next day, the same with marijuana. Even used in large doses, you will not wake up with a hangover. According to a survey published in 2016 by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services, about 24 million Americans aged 12 and older are current users of marijuana. This is evidenced by the increasing number of people failing marijuana tests, especially in states where it is legal recreationally. According to Barry Sample, PhD, Director of Science and Technology for the Employer Solutions Division of Quest Diagnostics, says the rate of positive tests has increased 35% in states where it's illegal since 2010, and has risen even faster where it is legal, as much as 71% in the same period. With no surprise, this has led to a smaller pool of THC-free workers. This is bad news for the workplace if they can't hire enough people to profit. Many companies have already dropped pre-employment screening because it hurts their ability to compete in the labor market. A talent acquisition director at a national fast food chain had this to say: "If we turn away every applicant who tested positive marijuana, we'd lose approximately 80% of our potential workers." Now, the worry comes up about being under the influence at the workplace, but I believe this comes down to trust and morality. An employer must trust their employees that they are not using in the workplace, and the employees should have enough morality to know this is wrong. An employee knows being under the influence of any substance could endanger their employment, so why take the risk for marijuana? If an employee did take the risk, then that employee is just unfit for the job. Plus, just like with alcohol, there are physical cues of a person being under the influence. This includes, but is not restricted to, marijuana on the breath, on the clothes, bloodshot or glossed over eyes, mental fogginess or drowsiness, and dilated pupils. In states where medical marijuana is legal, should an employee with a legal medical marijuana card be fired for failing a drug test? If the employee only uses after work to treat a condition, should they be discriminated against? somebody who uses marijuana to treat a condition can be trusted to not abuse it in the workplace. We also have the instance of high CBD percentage and low THC percentage marijuana. CBD is a cannabinoid that causes the medicinal effects of marijuana, while THC causes the psychoactive effects. So let's take this scenario. A person who is using CBD for its medicinal purposes ingests a little percentage of THC. This THC percentage could show up on a drug test, leading to their termination. Is this really fair for that person? Workplaces should take this into consideration when deciding to fire them or not. Plus, when have you ever heard that alcohol has medicinal effects that can treat a condition? Because I never have. This puts the employer in a tough position that can cause a major headache, especially in states where it's legal. It would save everyone a lot of time and stress if marijuana testing was taken out of the workplace completely. It simply comes down to responsible use, just as alcohol, trust, morality, and maturity. If an employee uses marijuana responsibly and sensibly, they should not face the risk of losing their job or careers.